This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Onside Kick here on Most Valuable Podcast. Ricky Widmer here, along with the Mark Weber.
Dub them ease.
And we are back to bring you yet another week of NFL news and topics. And Mark, this past week, we saw a great week. I mean, Dak Prescott, I'm going to do something that I've done in the past, and it pains me to say, but I got to give the young kid a little bit of credit. Went in, beat the Green Bay Packers, Green Bay Packers team that isn't what it is before. That's kind of like my backdoor comment to Dak Prescott. The Bears gave up a big lead. The Raiders finally lost their second game of the year, and the Patriots just kept rolling. But the biggest news coming in, Big Ben, he's out. I almost said out for the year, but he's out for a couple games, it may be.
Yeah, he's definitely not going to be out for the year. But I think that the thing I said to you right before this, there's kind of a mixed timetable right now. They say maybe he's only going to miss one game. Maybe it'll be a little bit more. My response is that he doesn't bounce back like he used to. It's not like the good old days where Big Ben has injury upon injury and he's still out there taking hits. That doesn't work anymore for the man. He's a little too old for it. So it's tough to say because we are so used to Big Ben saying, no, I'm hurt, but I'm still going to go out there and I'm still going to play.
But when you're almost 35, right now you're 34.
Yeah, you just can't quite do it. So I don't expect him to miss much. But yeah, he definitely needs some time to heal now.
And we're going to get into Big Ben. That's actually the first thing we're going to talk about on this podcast. Also, we're going to look at the NFC North, basically. We're going to take a look at what is wrong with the Green Bay Packers. And then I had a topic proposed about, should the Cowboys trade Tony Romo? But me and Mark discussed it. We talked about the Cowboys last week. It seems like we talked about
them a lot.
Seems like we're talking about those two guys.
The answer is just Dak Prescott needs to be your starter. That's the answer.
We're going to give the Cowboys a break. Jerry World is going to be fine without us. Instead, we're going to end the show with some talking about Da Bears and what's going on in the city of Chicago. But if you guys want to hear that Tony Romo discussion, let us know down in the comments, and maybe we'll do it in a future podcast because you know that discussion's never going to go away. But let's dive into that Big Ben discussion. And like you said, Mark, he did have the arthroscopic knee surgery this morning as we're recording this podcast Monday night. And the good thing that the doctors were saying was it wasn't a complete repair of the knee. It was just a little bit of a cleanup, which means the recovery time is going to be less. He's not going to, right now there's no exact timetable for his return, but what they're thinking is he's going to miss this week against the Patriots. He'll have the bye week to heal up. And then after that bye week, it's basically, okay, let's see if you can get ready to play the Baltimore Ravens and kind of take it from there. I'll ask you this. Do you think we see Big Ben suit up in 2 weeks? Well, 3 weeks it would be because of that preparation week against the Ravens.
Yeah, I can see him coming back for the Ravens for sure. I mean, obviously he's out for the Patriots. And that's unfortunate because the Patriots are going to easily beat the Steelers without Big Ben. There's really nobody who's competing with Tom Brady.
Is it really the Patriots that are going to beat him, or is it Tom Brady?
Tom Brady's beating everybody.
Yeah.
Tom Brady does what he wants. So, I mean, yeah, can we see him against the Ravens? Yeah, I think we can. We're going to see how far along he goes. But to be fair, it's not a joke of an injury. I mean, that's a mobility killer right there. Anything with your legs.
Adrian Peterson had the same thing, a meniscus injury.
Yeah. Anything with the legs, anything with your knee, that just limits you so much. Like, yeah, he can still throw a ball, but he can't get that full motion that he needs. Especially starts to make him just kind of hesitant. That's what you don't want to see. So that Ravens game, unfortunately, they really need to win that Ravens game. They got to win the away game at the Ravens because they get a home game late, and you know that will probably be important right now. Pittsburgh 4-2, the Baltimore Ravens 3-3. The fortunate thing for the Steelers, they've got a very powerful offense and they've got a good defense. So they can hold up well against any team. Of course, probably not against the Patriots because of Tom Brady, but they're going to hold up well against any team. Landry Jones just needs to not fuck it up, right?
Well, and Landry Jones, I'm pulling up his stats from last year, and he played in 7 games, but let's be honest, about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those games were garbage games. He had like 6 passes, 4 passes, 0 passes in 2 of them. The big one that he played the majority of was the Chiefs game last year on October 25th, almost the same time of the year that we are right now. And in that one, the Steelers lost 23-13. He went 16 of 29 for 209 yards, a touchdown and 2 INTs, finished with a QBR of 20.7. And, looking at that, if you needed any more reason to see why the Patriots are going to win this game in Week 7, you look right there. You look at Tom Brady, you look at this team. And this injury kind of is a huge damper as me as a general football fan. If I put my Viking fandom to the side and look at this game as just a general football game, this injury comes at the worst time, because this is the game where really in the off season, I know I had them getting upset in the playoffs. You did not. You had the Steelers. I want to say you had a Steeler-Patriot AFC Championship game. These were the 2 teams that everyone was saying, you know what, these are going to be the ones fighting for AFC supremacy this year, and now we don't get to see that until maybe a playoff matchup if they meet up again, because Big Ben gets injured. We'll probably see a Patriot shellacking out there, but I agree with you in the sense that Roethlisberger needs to play against the Ravens, because the more Landry Jones plays, I'm not saying that Landry Jones is a bad quarterback, but he's not Big Ben. Big Ben makes this offense go. A fun fact that I learned today, Antonio Brown has not caught a single pass from anybody not named Ben Roethlisberger. That's what they said on NFL Live today. So he's always had Big Ben, and Big Ben needs to come back to make this offense go, because the Ravens, they're a better team than many thought. And in Week 7, they're playing the Jets. They're going to be on the road. Right now, as we're recording this, the Jets are down by, I want to say it's 2 touchdowns to the Arizona Cardinals. So there's a good chance the Ravens could win that game in New York before they get a bye Week 8 also, same week the Steelers have, and then boom, both teams are coming in rested for that Week 9 matchup. And Big Ben, to me, I have this feeling that what it's going to be is he's going to try to play that game. I feel like they're going to keep him out for that Raven game. Should they? Probably not, but I think they're going to keep him out. I think the first game we could see him back is Week 10 against Dallas, because how I kind of feel, I'm putting on my, you could call it the tinfoil hat, the crystal ball hat, whatever you want. If I'm looking into the future, he misses this game, I think he's going to miss the Baltimore game. They will lose that game without him, and after losing 2 straight, they're going to kind of force him a little bit, or he's going to feel forced and come back a little bit sooner against that Dallas team.
Yeah, I think for Big Ben, I think he kind of has to come back for the Ravens. I think that's what's going to be really the driving force to get him back, especially after Landry Jones. I can't imagine that Landry Jones is going to do anything against the Patriots. You know, the idea for a guy like this, when you got a backup coming in who is not, I mean, sure, he's been around in the league for 4 years now? Mm-hmm. He's been around for a while, but it's just going to be so simple. It's checkdowns. It's safe. We're not going to take any risks. We're just going to hope that the playmakers do well. We're going to hope that Bell can step up and lead this team. Do you think they
lean on Bell a little bit more against the Patriots?
100% they're going to lean on him.
I mean, I love that because I have him on my fantasy team.
They're literally going to put the entire team on his back, dude.
Hey, so I'll take it. I will take it. As long as he gets me some fantasy points.
Yeah, it's going to be, well, of course, the Patriots know that he needs, he's got that team on his back. They need him to do well so they can stack the
all
box.
I need is about a touchdown or 2. That's all I need.
We'll see. So I think the things you can expect out of Jones is great accuracy and a high completion percentage, low yardage. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, I doubt we're seeing him over 250 yards. Highly, highly doubt that.
Well, And it's going to be interesting with this. This matchup is interesting for a quarterback like Landry Jones because of how the Patriots manage a game, how the Patriots prepare for a game.
They're going to be trying to keep him under 200.
Well, it's one of those things where what I think is going to happen in this game, and it has nothing to do with Landry Jones, just looking at the Steeler defense, Tom Brady's going to do what he did to the Bengals last week. The Bengals last week said, okay, we're going to double team Gronk. We're going to put a linebacker on James White in the backfield, and we're going to try to stop you that way. Well, James White had a fucking great game, and Tom Brady said, hey, you know what? You're going to take away Gronk? Cool. I don't have to throw the Gronk all the time. You're going to put this slow linebacker that's got to run to try to catch up to my running back swinging out. I'm just going to hit my running back for a couple touchdowns. White had a great day, especially if you had him on the fantasy team. So what I think is going to happen is this defense is going to do that. They're going to say, okay, we're going to take away Gronk. Brady will find other things. But this Patriot defense is going to say, hey, we're just going to load the box and make Landry Jones beat you with his arm. And the only way Landry Jones is going to beat you is if he says, you know what, I'm locking on to Antonio Brown, and me and him are going to win the game. Yeah. Because really with Landry Jones, you can throw it. You don't have Martavius Bryant out there. I mean, you could look for Sammy Coates, but really it's going to be give the ball to Le'Veon. Okay, they're leaving a little bit of Antonio Brown out there. Let's try to get the big play.
Yeah, there's not going to be any trying to get the big play, though. They're going to go safe.
What ain't going to happen?
Yeah, they're not even going to try it. I really don't think they're going to try it.
At all?
When backup quarterbacks come in for like a game or two, coaches never try it.
But does it change a little bit because he's been in the system for 4 years?
No, they never try it. Look, just last year when we saw people like Whedon going out there, a guy who's been around the league for a while. And what did he do? Check down, nothing. Exactly. You get little bit, and you never go far. And defenses know this, and that's what they do. They just don't risk it because they don't trust the guy. Mm-hmm. That's really what it comes down to. They're not going to trust him, and they're just going to hope for the best. They're going to dink and dunk a couple of times and hope that Bell can pound it up, or let Bell get it up a couple, 6 yards and hope that you can throw for 4.
I'm not completely sold on the dink and dunk. I think it's going to be more of they'll take a shot here and there, but I think it's going to be more than a dink and dunk because I'm going off of that one. Of course, it's one game because that's the game he started for Ben Roethlisberger, but against the Chiefs last year, you had Le'Veon Bell, 17 carries, 121 yards. So over the century mark for Le'Veon Bell. Antonio Brown had no touchdown passes, but had 6 catches for 124 yards. They also had Martavius Bryant, who caught a touchdown pass, but only had 45 yards. He's not playing this game, though. Also, Marcus Wheaton, not there. You got Sammy Coates. Then you got Landry Jones. What was his average per completion? About 7 yards. So not a complete dink and dunk. Like, I think they're going to go, you're going to see that, okay, we're going to try to throw it past. Because when I think dink and dunk, Mark, I'm thinking like the Dallas Cowboys. Let's throw it 5 yards. Let's throw it under that yard marker and let Cole Beasley run. I think there's going to be shots. I'm not saying like 50 yards down the field, 25 down the field. I'm saying like shots like 14, 15. Like shots that are at least past the first down marker, because there could be times where Le'Veon Bell gets a little stuffed at the line and doesn't get you that 3rd and short. It's kind of like a 3rd and long, 3rd and 10 still.
I still don't think they're really going to go for it. I think they're going to trust playmakers in that situation. I just think back to last year. I mentioned Brandon Whedon in Dallas, Jimmy Clausen in Chicago, Luke McCown in New Orleans. All these guys who would come in for a game or two. I mean, really, Landry Jones is in there too. Who would come in for a game, maybe 2 games, and they would just kind of inch their way up a little bit, and it wouldn't work out, and nothing would be successful. And we just had, do you remember last year with all these boring-ass games because we had these backup quarterbacks that were too scared and the coaches that wouldn't let them go for it? Mm-hmm. I see no reason to expect anything different from Landry Jones again this year to do anything different. I don't expect Todd Haley to really let him go when he's got so many great options to get yards after the catch or to break tackles and to, do it on the ground with Bell.
And to kind of correct myself, Marcus Wheaton is still in Pittsburgh. Hasn't been playing, though, because of a shoulder injury. So we'll see. He was out last week with that injury. He might be out this week again. So I just wanted to clarify myself so nobody thought I was saying that he's not on the team anymore. I want to end this discussion with this thing. I know that we said that Big Ben's got to come back for the Ravens game. He's got to come back after the bye.
Because it's dangerous territory at this point.
Let's say he doesn't come back for the Ravens game. How many games? Let me put this into your hands. If Big Ben had to miss a substantial amount of games as a Steeler fan, how many would you feel comfortable with past that Raven game? So let's say he misses the Patriots, misses the Ravens. How many more from that?
If Landry Jones is the starter.
Like you could say, if he misses this many games, I'd be comfortable. Anywhere past this, I wouldn't be.
They'll lose to the Patriots. They would lose to the Ravens. They will lose to the Cowboys with Landry Jones out there. They can beat the Browns. The Colts and the Giants are going to be toss-ups depending on how those teams go. So that is my point right there. When we get to the Colts and the Giants.
But if you lose those 3 games, Patriots, Ravens, Cowboys, you're already 5 losses.
You are. But if you can beat the Colts, you can beat the Giants, you can beat the Bills.
The Bills are on the rise right now.
They've
won, what, 4 games now?
The Bills typically fall off in later
I'm just
later
saying,
time.
like, and that's a thing.
It will be December.
And that's a thing for, I know it's a different time of the year, but as of right now, looking at it, what they are now, they're on a 4-game win streak, and they look like Rex Ryan has kind of called the troops together and kind of lit a fire under their ass.
Yeah, I just expect the Bills to be the Bills and fall off the way they like to do.
But even the Bengals would be tough. And Bengals would be tough in Cincy without a Big Ben.
But the thing about those games,
the Ravens again.
The thing about those last 3 games is those are all divisional games. So yes, they're tough, but you always have a chance within your division.
And they're dog fights, especially maybe the one against Cleveland, because I just wanted to make that pun. Dog fight, dog pound. Yeah, you guys get it.
But the thing with that is, Baltimore's going to be right in there. Cincinnati's going to potentially, if they bounce back, going to be in the conversation too. So that's the time where simply beating the Bengals, simply beating the Ravens might be enough to get you that wild card spot, to get you that division win if everybody's stuck in the middle.
And with Big Ben, it's for sure, if he's going to miss substantial amounts of games, you're no longer fighting for the division. You are fighting for the wild card.
Yeah,
it changes to that immediately with Landry Jones.
Ignoring the bye week, these next 4 games, if he's not there, you'll win 1. You're lucky if you can squeeze another win out of it. Really lucky.
I'm going to say this, if Big Ben misses that Ravens game, he needs to come back against the Cowboys. He cannot miss all of the next 3 games and still have the Steeler team set up, because I'm going to go back to a tweet that our own Sean Anderson put on the MVP account just last night when we found out that Big Ben was injured and going to need surgery. He said, I find it funny. I'm paraphrasing because I don't have the tweet in front of me. I find it funny that didn't I say this team would go 9-7 because they'd have to overcome injuries? So little Sean kind of throwing it in his direction from the prediction video. But this is where you guys let us know down below what you guys think. How many games is Big Ben going to miss? What can the Steelers do against the Patriots without him for sure? And do we see him back in the Steeler black and yellow for that Ravens game in 3 weeks?